of letting the face release, and he just starts to hold some putts. Ooh, just like that one. We all probably know a great putter, that mate that we have every time we play with him. They hole the world. In today's lesson, I'm going to tell you how to become that person, how to become a great putter. Let's get stuck into the lesson and find out now. So like I say, we've probably all got that friend that when we play with them, they're always holding putts, whether it's a 10-footer or a 20-footer, they never seem to miss. And when we watch the pros on television, they all seem the same. Generally, we're watching the people who are leading the tournament, so they generally do hole a lot of putts, but we think, God, they're a great putter, they hole everything. And it's not just by luck that they become great putters. There's some skills involved and some techniques involved that help them become great putters. And I'm going to give you 4 things today that I think that if you do these 4 things, you should be able to become a great putter. And number 1 on that list is when we get onto the green, and when I've talked to a lot of my lessons, especially beginner golfers, and say, well, how's your green reading skills? Oh, I don't know. I just sort of hit it and hope. I aim straight at the hole a lot of the time, and I end up missing wherever the break is. So we've got to understand how to learn to read a green. Now, there are systems out there like the aim point, when we see people doing things like this with their fingers and straddling the putting line. But one of the most basic things we can do when we come to learn about reading greens is finding the high point of the putt. So here I've got 3 golf balls laid down. Then I've got my journey from golf ball down to the flag. And in the surroundings here, we have got this dome-shaped green. Now, during this putt, there will be a high point. There will also be a low point. So as we stand here, at the front of the green here, it is actually sloping down away back towards my trolley. And if anything, it's sloping a little bit right of it. Over here, it's starting to actually get a little bit higher as we walk up this point of the green. As I stand here and I look back down now past the flag down to the front of the green, I feel significantly higher than the front of the green. So when I'm looking at my putt from behind the ball towards the flag, what I want to try and do is establish where the high side of this putt is. So for me, as I look from my ball to the flag now, the high side is over here. The low side of the putt is over here. So that would indicate to me that I would see a slope moving from high to low, which for me is going to be left to right. It actually also as well just actually goes up ever so slightly. So the highest point of the putt for me is going to be over here. So I know now it's a little bit uphill, and I know it's a little bit more left to right than anything. And then after the flag as well, I know that it's going to be running away. So what I don't want to be doing is racing it past the flag, because it could catch that slope and run down off past the hole. But the most important thing is that I've established is the high side's on the left and the low side is on the right. So I should now know that this is a left to right putt. So even if you're just starting out in your golfing journey, in your golfing career, and you can learn to identify where the high side of the putt is versus the low side of the putt, that's really going to help you on your journey to become a great putter. Because if I aim this first ball right of the hole, we see that it moves further right. If I aim this one pretty straight at the hole, we see that it just starts to tail off to the right at the end there. And then if I aim this one just left of the hole, we see that it starts to come back, and I've just given it a little bit too much. But as we see there, by identifying the high point, I can start to read the greens correctly. So that is tip number 1 to become a great putter. Learn to identify where the high side of your putt is. Let's take a look at tip number 2. So tip number 2. I teach a lot of players all the time, and we talk about putting, and it sometimes seems to be one of 2 ways. I'm a great putter, or my putting really could do with some work. I'm a very bad putter. Never get anyone who says, yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, it's it's okay. It's pretty decent. I back myself maybe on some others I wouldn't. We need to tell ourselves that we are great putters. If we imagine writing a film script and we were playing our own movie in our head as we walk up to the green and we're thinking about the putt that we're going to face, we need to actually trick our brain, or get our brain to believe that we are the best putter that we know. I am the greatest putter I know in my mind. I know that when I'm walking up, I'm confident, because two things could happen here. We've got two golf balls. If I stand over this first one and I'm going through the mindset of, oh, I always miss my 3-footers. I don't know which way this is going to break. I hate this putt. I never hole these putts. The chances of me making an actual confident stroke as I'm over this aren't very likely. What I'll probably tend to do is steer it towards the hole, and inevitably I'll miss more than I would hole more. As where what I like to sort of call it is the Conor McGregor style of putting. I'm the greatest putter in the world. You'd see him walking around doing whatever he does, and you go in with such confidence that, yeah, I've got the line here. I know this moves slightly right to left. My stroke is so good. Every putt I hit from this distance, I always hole. These aren't even a problem. I know if I make a good stroke, it goes in the hole just like so. And that was more of a confident stroke there, because I'm leading myself to believe that I am a great putter, and the chances are that that will filter through into my putting stroke and I will start to become a great putter. So tip number 2, when you are getting up to the greens, or even when you're thinking about putting, make it in your mind that you are the best putter that you know. Let's take a look at tip number 3. Okay, so tip number 3, we don't become a great putter by not actually putting any work and any effort in. And what I want you to do is find a drill that works for you. It might be something that specifically your coach has given you to work on in your putting stroke, or it might be something that you've stumbled across on one of the videos and you think, well, do you know what, that really relates to me, and I'm going to make sure that I really work on that specific drill. Because like Tiger, what we've seen from Tiger, probably the greatest putter we'll ever know, he's forever done this drill, even with just one hand on the putter, where he feels that he's releasing the toe over a little bit more from such a short distance, where he has a little gate like this and he lets the club just travel through. So he's just ingraining his technique, so he gets the feel of letting the face release, and he just starts to hold some putts. Ooh, just like that one as we're going through. He probably holds them a little bit more better, probably holds them better than that as he does. But what he's doing here, he's not chopping and changing all the time, all these drills. He's got this one specific drill that he goes to, that when he does it, he knows that when he walks off to the first tee, or after he's had that practice putting session, he will have ingrained some really good feels, and he will have instilled that confidence as he's going back out towards another round of golf. So what you need to do to become a great putter is put the time and effort in, and have that one little drill that you always fall back on, that will allow you to get the good feelings of what a good stroke is for you and ingrain them into your putting stroke. So find that drill and get working on it. Let's take a look at the 4th and final tip and see what it is to make you become a great putter. So the 4th and final tip that every single golfer can do if they are playing with someone else to become a great putter is learn from your playing partners. Now, there's probably one of two people that we're going to see out on the golf course. We'll see someone who is learning from the playing partner, and we'll see someone who isn't. The person who isn't learning, as I'd be putting here now, I would get into my golf ball, my playing partner's about to putt, and we would see that there I'm flicking through my phone. I'm not actually looking at what's happening, even though my putt's pretty much on the same line. I'm checking what's happened on Instagram, and I've not learned from my playing partner at all. As where the second playing partner would be actually looking quite attentive. They would be ready to pounce. As soon as I hit that putt, they're going to get an idea of how it breaks, what speed it's running at, how that putt is actually looking. And as we see there, as the other partner's looking now, we see that he's ready, he's waiting, and as I pull the trigger, he moves in and he looks at what that putt's actually doing as we go through. So you want to be the second one. You want to get some free information. Your playing partners may have a similar putt to you, and it might be just from anywhere else on the green as well. As they're having a look and having a go at their putt, you could be just stood here assessing what's going on. You'll be able to understand the speed of the green. Obviously, it depends on how hard you're hitting your putt, but you can get an idea for how it's moving. You'll understand the slope. You'll just get an idea. You get this free information. So every good putter, every great putter always takes something and is always learning when they're on the putting greens. They're not stood on the phone just scrolling through Instagram or with their head in the sky doing whatever they want to do. Even you might see the odd playing partner just at the side, just working on the stroke, just getting a feel in, just not concentrating on what your putter's doing, but they're still just trying to ingrain that stroke. So tip number 4 is always keep learning. If you've got playing partners, see what happens with their putt. If not, have a little work, have a little scope of around the greens. Just learn each time that you're out on the greens. If you can go through those 4 things, we should probably see that you can become a great putter. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson this week. If you have, do remember to hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the bell notification, and I'll see you in your next lesson, where hopefully you will be a great putter.